The West Philippine Sea shimmers under the tropical sun. Its turquoise waters teem with life. Beneath the surface lie vast reserves of oil and natural gas. These riches have made the sea a source of hope and prosperity for the Philippines, but they have also made it a battleground. For centuries, the West Philippine Sea has been a vital waterway for trade and fishing. Coastal communities depend on its bounty. But the discovery of oil and gas in the 20th century transformed the region. It sparked a struggle for control, a struggle for sovereignty. The Philippines, China, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, and Taiwan all lay claim to parts of this sea. The stakes are high. At the heart of this conflict lies the question of who has the right to these resources, who has the right to call these waters their own. The seeds of the conflict were sown in 1947. The Republic of China, then ruling mainland China, published a map. This map showed an 11-dash line. This line encompassed most of the South China Sea, including areas close to the Philippines. In 1949, the Communist Party took control of mainland China. They replaced the 11-dash line with a 9-dash line. This line was slightly smaller but still covered a vast area, including the West Philippine Sea. These lines were more than just markings on a map. They represented China's claim to almost the entire South China Sea. This claim directly challenged the Philippines' own territorial rights. It set the stage for a long and bitter dispute. The discovery of oil and gas in the 1970s intensified the struggle. The Philippines particularly asserted its claim over the Kalayaan island group and surrounding waters. These areas, rich in resources, became a focal point of the conflict. China, however, remained steadfast in its claim. It argued that its historical presence in the region justified its expansive territorial ambitions. The Philippines countered that international law recognized its sovereign rights over the West Philippine Sea. The discovery of oil and gas transformed the dispute. It was no longer just about fishing rights or maritime borders. It was about control over valuable energy resources. The economic stakes were raised and the conflict took on a new urgency. In 1982, a glimmer of hope emerged. The United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, was adopted. This treaty aimed to establish a comprehensive legal framework for the oceans. It defined maritime zones including exclusive economic zones or EEZs. UNCLOS granted coastal states like the Philippines sovereign rights over resources within their 200 nautical mile EEZ. This seemed to offer a solution to the dispute. The Philippines ratified UNCLOS in 1984, demonstrating its commitment to a rules-based order. China, however, refused to recognize the Philippines' EEZ claims within the 9-dash line. It continued to assert its historical rights, ignoring the provisions of UNCLOS. This disregard for international law raised alarm bells in the region and beyond. It set a dangerous precedent for resolving maritime disputes. Section 5. Mischief Reef, China stakes its claim. The world witnessed China's disregard for UNCLOS in 1995. Chinese forces occupied Mischief Reef, a feature within the Philippines' EEZ. China claimed the reef as its own, constructing structures on the submerged feature. The Philippines protested vehemently, but China refused to budge. The Mischief Reef incident marked a turning point. It showed China's willingness to use force to assert its claims in the South China Sea. It also highlighted the challenges of enforcing international law against a powerful state. The occupation of Mischief Reef sent a clear message. China was no longer content with mere claims on paper. It was prepared to back its claims with concrete actions. This assertive posture had profound implications for the region's stability. Section 6. Showdown at Scarborough Shoal, fishermen caught in the crossfire. Tensions flared again in 2012. This time the flashpoint was Scarborough Shoal, another feature within the Philippines' EEZ. Chinese surveillance vessels prevented Filipino fishermen from accessing the shoal, a traditional fishing ground for generations. The standoff lasted for months, captivating the world's attention. The Philippines, outmatched militarily, found itself in a precarious position. It was forced to rely on diplomacy and international pressure to counter China's aggression. The Scarborough Shoal standoff had a devastating impact on Filipino fishermen. Deprived of their livelihood, many were plunged into economic hardship. The incident underscored the human cost of the maritime dispute. It also highlighted the vulnerability of smaller states to China's growing maritime power. Section 7. Seeking justice on the seas. The Philippines takes China to court. Faced with China's intransigence, the Philippines took a bold step in 2013. It filed an arbitration case against China under UNCLOS. The Philippines argued that China's 9-line claim had no legal basis and violated its sovereign rights. The Philippines' decision to pursue arbitration was a watershed moment. It demonstrated its commitment to a peaceful, rules-based resolution. It also sought to leverage international law to counter China's might. The arbitration case was met with fierce opposition from China. It refused to participate in the proceedings, dismissing the case as illegitimate. However, the tribunal at the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague proceeded to hear the Philippines' case. Section 8. A victory for international law, the 2016 ruling and its aftermath. In July 2016, the tribunal issued its ruling. It was a resounding victory for the Philippines. The tribunal ruled in favor of the Philippines on almost all counts. It invalidated China's 9-line claim, affirming the Philippines' sovereign rights within its EEZ. The ruling was hailed as a landmark decision. It reaffirmed the importance of UNCLOS and offered a beacon of hope for small states facing maritime disputes. The Philippines welcomed the ruling, calling on China to respect international law. China, however, rejected the ruling outright. It denounced the tribunal as biased and vowed to ignore the decision. Despite the ruling's legal weight, China showed no signs of backing down from its claims. The challenge now lay in enforcing the ruling and ensuring respect for international law. Section 9. The struggle continues. Defending sovereignty in the present day. The 2016 ruling did not mark the end of the dispute. China continues to assert its presence in the West Philippine Sea. It has continued to build artificial islands, increasing its military capabilities in the region. The Philippines, under different leaderships, has pursued a multifaceted approach. It has sought to strengthen its alliances, particularly with the United States. It has also engaged in diplomatic efforts to rally international support for its position. The struggle for the West Philippine Sea is far from over. It remains a complex and delicate issue. The Philippines faces the daunting task of defending its sovereign rights against a more powerful neighbor. Section 10. The price of freedom, the cost of defending Philippine rights. Defending Philippine sovereignty in the West. Philippine Sea comes at a cost. The Philippines has been forced to increase its military spending, diverting resources from other pressing needs. The livelihoods of Filipino fishermen continue to be affected by China's actions. The Philippines has also faced diplomatic pressure from China. China has used its economic clout to try to sway the Philippines' position. The Philippines, however, has remained resolute in its commitment to upholding its rights. The struggle for the West Philippine Sea is not just a legal battle. It is a fight for the rights and freedoms of the Filipino people. It is a fight worth fighting no matter the cost. Section 11. A call to action, unity and awareness for a secure future. The future of the West Philippine Sea remains uncertain, but one thing is clear. The Filipino people must remain united and vigilant in defending their sovereign rights. They must be aware of the issues at stake and the challenges they face. The Philippines cannot afford to be complacent. It must continue to raise awareness about the West Philippine Sea, both domestically and internationally. It must continue to work with like-minded nations to uphold international law and promote a rules-based order. The struggle for the West Philippine Sea is a defining moment for the Philippines. It is a test of its resolve, its commitment to its values, and its vision for the future. The Filipino people, united and informed, hold the key to securing a future where their rights and freedoms are respected and protected.